A very warm welcome to all of you who are present inside the community session right now and the ones who are going to be watching this as a recording on YouTube later. Today's topic is going to be about how do we choose a niche as a life coach. Now, if you are someone who has been coach for a while, you are aware of the word what niche is. But let's say you didn't really understand it that well, or you haven't really figured out what your niche really is. So today's video is for you. Or maybe you are just a complete beginner. You have just gotten done with your certification as a life coach, and now you're wondering, how the hell do I even start writing content or create content, or how do I even market myself? Right? So niche is a very big, factor when you're, marketing yourself as a coach, which is inviting people to work with you. Or maybe you are someone who is in the process of getting a certification, or you're just starting out, which comprises of a lot of people who are inside my community, which are corporate professionals who want to be life coaches. If you are that as well, this video is going to be very informative for you, as well as you're going to understand how do you really understand content creation as a coach. Like, how do you really be a coach who's paid and not just a coach who ends up being an influencer. Now, what do I mean by this? So what tends to happen with a lot of coaches when they just get the certification and they don't really, work with a coach to actually sit down and make a business strategy for themselves, they end up, putting themselves out there in social media just for likes and comments. So they will post motivational quotes, they will, put anything that can go viral. And what tends to happen is that they get wrapped up into this bubble, this illusion of engagement that, oh my God, I'm getting popular and all of that. But when you look at their bank account, they're not really getting any money, or they're not really getting any paid clients, right? And this is a result of having you know, like not having a rock solid marketing strategy, and basically not having an understanding of what your business, really looks like. So a lot of people kind of miss, different pillars of marketing, which I'll be talking about in different videos. And one such pillar today is going to be niche, which is the starting point of how you start putting yourself out there on social media. So now most of the things that I've spoken about is putting yourself out there as a coach on social media. This is all about that. But one more thing you must understand is that you are a coach everywhere, right? So it doesn't matter. You can still choose to talk about the work that you do, even people who are present in your physical surroundings, right? So that's another topic altogether. But today's session is going to be specific for people who want to get clients from social media, who want to get clients from internet, right? Okay, I'm just going to share my screen and then you guys let me know if it's visible. Okay. Is my screen visible to you guys? Can you guys see my screen now? Okay, great. All right, so let's start. Now, how to choose a niche as a life coach. So the very first thing we want to understand is, what the hell does the word niche really mean, right? Because niche means in general, like a specific thing that a person is very suited for in general, in generic terms. But we want to understand, what does niche really mean in the context of being a life coach, right? So a niche is basically a very concentrated and specific issue you're helping people with, right? So here you, like, when someone asks you, what is your work? Like, what do you do? You're able to tell them in one line that this is exactly what I help people with. So you are clear and specific about what you're helping people with, who you are helping, and how exactly you are helping. So we'll take a small example, right? Let's say that someone asks me that, Priyanshi, what do you do? I can tell them I'm a life coach. All right, that's a very umbrella term. A life coach is like a very generic term, and it can include anyone and everyone who's in the coaching industry or helping people with their emotions, right? But if I just go out there and say that I am a life coach, it doesn't really mean much, right? People won't actually be able to understand that, do I actually want to work with this person or not? So then we specify it a little bit. So niche here would be, I am a life coach who helps people develop self-love. Now, I have made it specific that I specifically help people who want to develop self-love. So if there are, let's say 100 people out there and there are 40 people who are sure that they want to develop self-love, they will be interested in me now, as compared to when I would have just said, oh yeah, I'm a life coach. For example, it's like saying that, yeah, I'm a doctor. But doctor of what exactly? Are you a physician? Are you an ophthalmologist? Are you an orthodontist? What exactly are you? Right? So niche is being specific, right? And we can make it as specific as you want. So niche can be broken down into even micro niches when you become even more and more and more specific about who you're helping with, right? Now, there is a misconception that people tend to have that, if we niche down, we are only speaking to like very small number of people. And I always tell coaches like that yes, that's right. Not everyone is your client. And you must understand that when you're speaking to everyone, you're speaking to absolutely no one. When you put yourself out there, the people who are coming into your energy should get the energy from you that this is the only person who can solve my problem. That's the energy you want to put out. And that energy will only come when you are very specific that this is what I'm open to. Now, another question or another thought that I tend to get from coaches is that, but I can help people with so many things. Well, that is true. You can, because as a life coach, you develop coaching skills to help people with varied issues. But that doesn't mean that you can help absolutely everyone. Okay, you must understand that the point of niching down is for you to speak to very specific people, is for you to position yourself as an expert. That is the only time you're gonna attract clients, not when you're just speaking generic stuff, which is something that I see a lot on LinkedIn, where a lot of coaches just put out very generic things, very, very generic things, motivational quotes and some one-liners and two-liners. And then they say that we have so many followers, why don't we have clients? And, we are, posting content and it's getting viral. Everybody appreciates it. Why are we not getting clients? In fact, one of the things, and this is, I'm digressing from the topic a little bit as usual, but I think I want to let you guys know that a lot of times what happens to some people is that they say that, what, I'm putting out content every day, I'm writing content, but I'm just not getting clients, right? And that is when also one of the things that I look into when I'm working with coaches specifically to expand their business is what type of content are they putting out. And that is when also niche comes into the picture. So if, let's say, I am posting 3 times a day on LinkedIn every single day, but every time I post, I'm posting about, oh yeah, self-love is important. Some Google code, some this, some that. So what I'm doing is I'm creating an illusion of engagement for me. I'm creating an illusion of popularity for me, right? So it may boost my ego for a little bit. Oh my God, I'm getting so many likes or something. But we are not influencers, right? We are coaches. You must understand that. I mean, if you are an influencer, that's a completely different thing. Like I'm not the coach for you. This video is not for you. I'm speaking to people who are coaches, not influencers. So our job is to coach. Our job is to get paid clients, okay? Not people telling you, oh my God, this is great, that is great, and stuff, yada, yada. If it's not converting, then there is something that's going wrong. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you're putting content every day as well. If it's not targeted, if it's not, highly valuable, it's not going to result into anything. Now we'll discuss this, in further videos as well. But coming back to the topic, uh, micro niche could be, I am a life coach who helps mothers develop self-love. Now I want you to notice, okay, in the first sentence, I just told people that this is who I am, right? I am not explaining in any way how am I solving a problem and who am I solving a problem for. In niche, I am telling people that I am a life coach, this is who I am, and this is what I help people with. So I've become more specific. Then micro niche is when I've become extremely specific that this is who I am, this is what I help with, and this is exactly who I help this with, which means I am a life coach, yes, and I help people with self-love, but I specifically help mothers with self-love, right? So this is extremely specific as compared to someone who would just say that, yeah, I'm a life coach, or, yeah, I help people with self-love. The more specific I become, the more attractive I become to the clients who actually want to work on certain things. Now let's try to understand why exactly is it important to choose a niche. Now, very first thing is that it helps you align your marketing messaging. Now, what is marketing messaging? Marketing messaging is, how exactly you are communicating to people in terms of marketing, that this is how you can work with me. Now, we'll take that example once again, okay? The first example was that I am a life coach, right? That's a generic term. You tell me, how do I communicate this to people? I am a life coach, yes, but what does that even mean? How does it look like I can actually help people, right? I can make fancy banners, I can make a website, I can, hire people to do things for me and yada yada. But when it actually comes to communicating, what do I help people with? I have no idea. All I know is I'm a life coach. How do I make content around it? How do I communicate it? How do I create my offers? How do I understand my client? I have no idea. Then the second is, I am a life coach who helps people with self-love. So here, at least I have clarity on, okay, this is what I'm helping with. Otherwise, I can write about anything and everything. I would be one of those motivational life coaches who have zero paid clients, but a lot of illusion of numbers, right? And my desire for you, specifically each one of you who's watching this video, is not to be that. Please don't be a broke coach, okay? That's not something that helps you in either way. And don't chase the illusion of numbers. It means absolutely nothing. Like, I had 300 followers when I started out. Today I have just merely 18,000 followers, and it doesn't mean a thing. Absolutely doesn't mean a thing. To this date, some of my posts receive what? Just 5 or 6 likes, or maybe 10 or 20 likes. Makes zero difference. I have had posts that received maybe 5 or 6 likes, but I got like 3 or 4 clients from that. But I have had posts that got a little bit viral where they received like 800, 900 likes or something, and they didn't get me any clients, but they did get a lot of, oh my god, we love this and all of that, right? So we'll talk more about it. And I do help coaches scale by helping them create a content calendar and helping them actually create a mix of things that attract clients. But the very important aspect of it is marketing messaging. And when you don't know who you are helping with, what you are helping them with, and who exactly are you helping, then it's going to be very difficult to have an aligned marketing messaging, right? Second is, when you are very specific, right, you become an expert in an area and people are able to recall you on the spot, right? And you must know that your job is not to gain a lot of appreciation from everyone. Your job is to become the number one name in someone's head. That whenever they're thinking about, okay, I have let's say, you are someone who helps people with self-love. Your job should be that whenever someone is struggling with self-love, your name is the one that should pop into their head. That this is the person who can help me with. This is the person who can help me develop self-love. And this can only happen when you niche down and when you become an expert in an area, not when you're talking about different thing every single day. What it does is it creates it attracts a whole bunch of people in your energy. And just because there is a lot of people doesn't mean that you're actually going to have a lot of clients. Don't ever confuse that. It's much better to have 5 raging fans in your community than to have 20 30,000 like mildly sober people who sometimes like your content. Because again, you're not an influencer, you're a coach, and you want to be a good, highly paid coach, right? So when you are specific with what you are helping with, who you are helping, and how exactly can you help them, right? When you're able to answer what, who, and how, you are able to be an expert in your field, which is what you should be aspiring to. Because at the end of the day, when you want to take help, you don't go to someone who has a large number of followers. You go to someone who you know is an authority figure in their field, right? And we want to be that. That's called authority marketing. Then the third and the one of the most important part of marketing messaging is, when you are specific, it helps to talk to your ideal client only. Now see, and this is something I've mentioned in other one of my videos as well. Please understand that not everyone is your client and you can't be a coach for everyone. That's just not a thing. Please understand that. No matter how much you want to help people, no matter how much you feel that, okay, I have this skill, that skill, and I can help people with this, this, it doesn't matter. Not everyone is your client and you are not everyone's coach. No matter how successful you are and no matter how skilled you think you are. So your job is to speak to your ideal client only. Your job is to write about the things that your ideal client feels pulled towards. Your job is to speak to them and them only. Your job is not to speak to please other people. I have had so many clients of mine who were never my LinkedIn connections, who have never commented on any of my posts, who have never liked any of my posts, but they still became my clients. If I would have run behind the illusion that, oh my God, I want to, have these many followers or these many likes, or, getting into this fake engagement pods on WhatsApp that some influencers tend to run. If I would have gone that, I would have attracted very low quality people. So you must understand that your job is to speak to your ideal client only. And I'll again make a separate video on that, but the only way you can speak to your ideal client is, one is, of course, your niche, right? Second is you have clarity and confidence as a coach, right? That's a very important part here. Just choosing a niche is not going to cut it, specifically in this part that you're speaking to your ideal client. You also must have that deep faith that I can help someone, right? You must have that confidence that I know that when someone works with me, their life does get transformed. So your confidence as a coach is incredibly important here. And the next one is, it makes it easy for you to expand your offers. So we'll take an example, that we discussed in the previous slide. So I'm going to put that slide on once again. Okay. Now, let's take the same example. Let's say that, someone says that I'm a life coach. Okay. How do you create an offer? How do you decide that, okay, this is the program I want, and this is what I'm going to help people with, this is the objective, and yada yada? You may whip up something out of the blue which you are not sure of. Then let's say I am a life coach who helps people develop self-love. Now this is a bit more niche, wherein you are able to see that, okay, this is what I'm helping people with. So I'm gonna, help people develop self-love, let's say in a matter of 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, whatever. And these are the tools I want to use, and this is the journey I want to take my client in, or these are the levels that I have set for my clients. And then when you become more niche, that I am a life coach who helps mothers develop self-love, for example, then you have even more curated offers. That, okay, I am working with mothers, so I'm going to keep my schedules flexible and friendly to mothers. Or you know what, I'm going to, be helping mothers, so I'm going to keep like specific sessions just to talk about the relationship with the partner. So what is happening? I am getting more and more clearer in my offer, right? Why? Because I know my what, who, and how. So the more you niche down, the more clearer you become with that. The more clearer and the more smoother your process becomes in running your business, right? Now, let's understand what choosing niche is not, okay? The very first thing is feeling suffocated. Now, for a lot of people, what tends to happen is that they become suffocated when they've chosen a niche, okay? So for example, let's say that, I help people with their confidence and anxiety. But let's say that I don't really resonate with it that much. I've written it because I think that was like what I want to help people with. But I don't know how to write content about it. I don't know who I'm speaking with. I have no idea how to communicate this. I have no idea, how do I really, do anything with it. But I feel stuck with it because I think that, this word came to me, so I have to stick with it. So choosing a niche is not that. Okay, choosing a niche is not just picking one topic and sticking to it until death. That's not what niche is. Choosing a niche is supposed to make your life easier, not harder, not make you feel stuck and unclear. So here, two things, okay? One is, if your niche is not resonating with you anymore, accept it and move on. There are no rules. Nobody remembers what you're doing. So if your niche is not resonating with you, drop it. Choose something that does resonate with you, and we'll discuss in the next slide how do you really choose a niche. Second is, be more clear and confident as a coach. Now, how you choose a niche is not that there is some magical strategy out there. The more clear and confident you are as a coach, the more you have solved your own problems. When your level of personal growth is high, choosing a niche is going to be very, very easy for you, because you will be able to see, like, it will be a very clear picture to you that this is something I can help people with. And this is something I can also help people with. But this is something I don't want to help people with. I can, but you know what? It's not that fun. But this is something I also have fun in. A lot of coaches who get stuck fall here. They know they can help people, but they don't feel excited about it. They don't feel this sense of, you know what, I can research about it. You know, I can dive deep into it, right? Second, and again, so important, there is no one in the world who is into some sort of a niche which is extremely profitable, which is, you know, going to benefit you. Okay. As a life coach, please understand that. I mean, if you're an influencer or you're in a different field, this video may not be for you. And I don't know about you, but as a life coach, do not try to copy some other coach because you think what they are doing is somehow more profitable. It doesn't work that way. It really, really doesn't. Because as I've told again and again, a life coaching business comes from your nervous system. Okay. So people don't work with you because, you know, they think that you are the only one. They work with you for your energy. Okay. And when your energy is coming from a place of that, I don't actually feel confident enough in myself, so I'm going to copy another coach, people can sense it. I'm not joking. Okay. Because the ones who are also drawn to coaching, right, are also empathetic people. Please understand that all of you are watching this video, be it, you know, right now today, you know, in the community session, or the ones who are watching this as a YouTube video, be honest. Don't you think you're able to sense someone's genuineness or not? You can, right? It's the same thing. When you are not being genuine, when you are not being confident, other people can sense it. And that is why, you know, you may not be attracting clients because you're not being genuine yourself, because you have not worked on your personal growth as of now. So don't try to copy others because it's going to make you feel even more underconfident about who you are. And more importantly, what it's going to do is you're going to get dependent then. You'll always find someone to copy from. And that's a very horrible place to be at, honestly. You must understand that this is not school, okay? This is not an examination that you will copy someone's paper. As a business owner, your creativity level comes from your genuineness and authenticity. And someone doesn't pay you because you know, they think you are some magical person. They pay you because they love your energy. They pay you because they believe in their energy. This is someone I want to work with. For example, anyone who's ever become my client is someone who loves authenticity over toxic positivity, because I show up like that. I'm very against toxic positivity. I don't like, you know, painting a rosy picture when things are not going well, or always trying to, you know, like being positive and not really speaking the truth. So each one of my clients who's ever worked with me has always told me that, Rianshi, we liked that about you. We liked that you were genuine and you did not always sugarcoat things, or you did not always, you know, try to lie to us or something. So I knew what I was putting out, and that is exactly what got my clients into my energy, right? So understand that copying others is not going to work. No matter who you're copying, you can copy someone from LinkedIn, Instagram, it does not matter. It will not work. Now, another thing that a lot of coaches, now this is something that a lot of beginner coaches tend to struggle with. They think that a certain demography can pay them more. So I'll tell you an example. I spoke to someone a while back. It was around maybe a year and a half ago. They got on a call with me and they were a beginner coach, like they just started out. And they told me that, you know what, Rianshi, I have decided I will only work with leaders because, you know, they can pay me more. And I said, who told you that? And then she told me that, you know, I have seen it. I have seen in this person, that person. So I'm going to work with only leaders. And she did that. And nobody actually became, you know, her client. And then she, you know, came to me again and we spoke at length about it. And I explained to her that this is not how things work. So a lot of people think that somehow someone with a certain profession can pay them more, or a certain gender can pay them more. So some people think that, okay, if I only work with women, they will pay more. If I only work with men, they will pay more. If I you know, work with parents, they will somehow pay me more. Or if I work with leaders or something. And none of that is true. Okay, I have charged high ticket, and it has never been the case for me. Age did not matter, gender did not matter, person's profession did not matter. The only thing that mattered was they valued their personal growth more than anything. Okay, so you don't get you know, sucked up into that someone from certain demography can pay you more, you know. Like, for example, again, some people tend to think that if I work with people over 30, you know, they will pay me more because they're, you know, employed and they're at a higher position or something like that. And that's such a joke, because I've seen people And none of that is true. It doesn't really mean just because someone is a certain age or a certain gender or anything. If you are not genuine, or let's say if they don't find value in the work you're doing, or maybe they just don't value personal growth, maybe they're just coming to you for a conversation, they will not pay you. The only client who will pay you is the one who's sold out on their personal growth and on you as a coach. It has nothing to do with any age, any gender, or any demography. So don't get sucked into that ever. A lot of experts tend to go with this, work with this certain age group and all of that, and that is how you niche down. Absolutely not. Always focus on the psychographics, not the demographics. Psychographics meaning write down the qualities of the people you want to work with. For example, one of the things that is a very big value of mine, that the people I work with are people who take responsibility of their life. I am not a big fan of working with people who stay in their victim mindset and who don't really want to come out of it, right? They just want to keep saying, but they don't really want to come out of it. That's not my jam, right? So I only work with people who are either willing to come out of their mindset, or they make a decision that for me to work with Rianshi, I will come out of it. And I have had people say that to me. I've had people say that to me, that Rianshi, we prepared ourselves and then came to you to work. So don't focus on the demography, focus on the psychographic. What are the qualities of the people you want to work with? And again, see yourself. Are you embodying that quality? So again, one more thing, I saw in someone a while back was they were a coach and they didn't really want to invest in their own personal growth, and they wanted clients to pay them, and for very obvious reasons they were not getting clients. And again, content was not an issue for them. It's not like they were not trained, but because they were so unwilling to actually invest in themselves, nobody wanted to invest in them, right? And you must understand that you can't be a hypocrite in business. You just can't, right? Maybe it may work in corporate, but it doesn't work in business. Whatever you put out, right, people can sense it. So when you have never paid high ticket, when you have never actually invested in yourself, you will never get someone who will invest in you. Because to charge big, you need to have a big nervous system. And how do you have a big nervous system? When you've actually invested big in yourself. And that is why a coach without a coach is always a failure to happen. Always. It will happen either today, or it will happen after a month, or it will happen after 6 months. But it will happen. Because this coach doesn't really know what it means to charge high ticket. It's not just saying the number, it's believing in that number so much. It's the ability to not compromise. It's the ability to believe deeply. That only comes when the energy is both the ways. Not, thinking that, oh, you know what, I'm not going to invest anything in myself, but people should pay me. It doesn't work that way, right? And ignoring your intuition, listening to experts. So again, niching is something that comes from your body, okay? It doesn't mean that you go to someone and they will tell you that do this, do this, do this, do this. There is no one in this world who can tell you how to run your own business, specifically a life coaching business. Because as I told you, it comes from your body and your brain, and it will evolve over a period of time, right? As a coach, the more you evolve, the deeper you go into your personal growth, the deeper and more successful your own business will become. So ignoring your intuition and just listening to someone and following them following them blindly, something I don't ever recommend doing, ever. Even if you're listening to this video, like, reflect on everything that I'm saying. Don't just gulp it in. Reflect on what I'm saying. Ask yourself that whatever Rianshi is saying, is it objectively true? Is it something that's actually resonating with me? And if you don't resonate, ask questions. Don't believe everything blindly. I've never done that. Even when I worked with my very first coach, there were a lot of things that he said that I did not agree with, and I never applied it. So you don't have to apply what experts are saying. Use your own brain. That is why coaching is the business of brain expansion. The more expanded your brain is, the more objective you will become, the more independent in your thinking you will become. Now, let's come to the very last topic, which is how do you actually choose a niche? Now, the very first thing to remember is that you can solve a problem for other people that you have solved for yourself, right? And that is something that you are already an expert in. So, for example, having boundaries with other people, or being confident in who I am, is something that came easy to me. And that is a problem that I've solved for myself, right? There was a time that I was underconfident, but I have solved that problem for myself. And I know how to like myself, even on the days when everything is going wrong. And that is why that is my niche. Now there are multiple problems I help my clients solve. When I'm sitting with my clients, I help them through their business problems, through their career problems. But the major thing that I always talk about is confidence, because that is something that I've solved for myself. So the very first question you must ask is, what is the problem that you've solved for yourself, right? Now, again, there's a quote that I really like. It says that what may be obvious to you is not obvious to others. And this is something I realized when I started talking about more and more about, my philosophies and how I overcame my problem. And that was, that seemed very obvious and very simple to me. But when I would, coach my clients around that, they would feel like, oh my God, this is something that I never knew. So you must understand that a lot of things that may feel obvious to you is not really obvious to other people. So make a list of what are your biggest problems that you've solved for yourself. Second is your niche will come from your body. Now, if you've ever done inner work, if you've ever done trauma work, you will understand the term dominant vibration. But if you have not, I'll just explain to you. See, each one of our lives, okay, we all are very unique. But there is one biggest problem that we all have had in our life, right? Could be a confidence issue, could be, a relationship issue, that we've always had relationship issues, could be, childhood trauma. We've always had a very difficult relationship with our parents. Could be, a career issue, that we have always had a career problem where we have always had career breaks. Could be a money issue. We've always been scared of money. There is one problem that is a dominant vibration in your body, right? Wherein that is something that has always bothered you. And hear me out very, very calmly. Your dominant vibration is your niche. When you are able to solve a problem that has been the biggest problem in your life, that is your niche. Nobody, and I'm telling you, nobody can talk about that topic better than you. And that is why you need to do your personal growth. You need to work on your trauma. You need to heal yourself. The more you do your deep inner work, the more you heal, all of these things will become very clear for you, because your niche will come from your body. That clarity that you will have, that this was my biggest problem and I have solved this. And when you solve your biggest problems, you know what happens? You're very aware of the stages that people also go through. You're very aware that, okay, this is what, my client could be thinking, because I thought the same thing. And this only happens when you've done your inner work. And that is why it's so important to have your own personal coach and work on the issues you're facing. The more you work on yourself, the more you heal the traumas, the more you let go of your limiting beliefs, the more clearer the niche will become, and the more clearer your business challenges will become, and how do you really solve them, right? So your niche will come from your dominant vibration. Your niche will come from the biggest problem that you have solved for yourself. Now, let's take an example, okay? Let's say that, I'm helping people with confidence anxiety, but I'm struggling with it. I'm not investing in my own growth. I have not invested in a personal coach, and I'm very rigid and I'm very stubborn that I don't want to do anything about it. And someone comes to me, they sit in a clarity call with me, and they tell me the exact same problem I'm struggling with. They have the same issue. They want to work on their confidence, but they don't want to invest in themselves. And they are facing the exact same issue that I'm facing with. You tell me, how do I coach a person like this? I can't. I can pretend, I can fake, I can go on Google, I can try to copy someone, but I can't actually help this person. Why? Because I have not helped myself. So how can I won't use the word convince. How can I expect that someone else would want their problems to be solved by me when I have not solved that problem for me? You understand, right? That is why your niche will also come from your dominant vibration and your inner work. Your inner work needs to go deep. So if you've never had a personal life coach, go work with one. Okay? Work on your issues and heal your trauma. That is the only way you'll become more and more clearer. And third is focusing on this feels so easy and obvious to me. So again, this is an extension of the very first point, which is, what is a problem that you have found, that, okay, I've solved this and this is just so easy for me now. So for example, for me, when I struggled with confidence, in my teenage years, that was an issue for me. But now there are very, very rare days where I feel underconfident about myself. And even when I do, I'm able to pull myself out there very easily as compared to most people because I've worked on myself at that level, right? So I know that tomorrow, when let's say one of my clients comes to me, or someone comes to me and tells me that, you know what, I have, an issue with confidence, and these are my problems, and these are the reasons I have confidence issues, I'll be able to recognize it. I'll be able to help them. Why? Because I've helped myself first. Yeah. So that is why focus on what's easy and obvious to me. And if it's not feeling easy and obvious to you, then you must understand that your inner work is still lacking. So go and do that. You can do your business and you can do your inner work simultaneously. I'm not saying you have to stop your business to do your inner work, no. But start your inner work, heal your traumas, work on your limiting beliefs, because your business is different from other businesses. Your business doesn't require an external investment. You don't have to invest in a capital, a land, equipment, or take out a huge loan from the bank, or yada yada, none of that. When you do your life coaching business right, it's going to give you money just after a couple of months, or even within a month you start getting clients. But the only investment you need to do is in a good coach that you trust, and ultimately that investment is in your brain, right? Expanding your brain. Now the last is you feel inspired to do deeper research in it. Now, I told you, right, when you're niching down, what you're really being is an expert. And how do you become an expert? Not by just touching the surface level of something, right? First is you actually solve your own problem, so that gives you experiential knowledge. Second is also theoretical knowledge, and how you will only be able to research about something that you deeply feel inspired by. So for example, one of the reasons I shifted from mindset coaching to trauma coaching is because I felt deeply inspired to do it, because I saw the result of it on me, right? And if I weren't interested in it, I would not have studied it. And if I would not have studied it, I would not have been able to help my clients with it, or even talk about it, right? So you have to feel inspired. You have to feel interested. You have to feel like, okay, you know what, this is something that I'm very deeply interested in. This is something that I can read about every single day. Okay, now this is it for today. I will be allowing you guys to unmute yourself, so you can just come and ask in your questions if you want on the mic, or you can also just type down in the chat box. Anything is okay. I tend to speak a little bit fast, so I'm really sorry if I spoke a little fast. Those of you watching this as a recording, maybe try to listen to it at the 0.5 x speed. Okay, I've allowed you guys to unmute. What if I want to change my niche? You can. As I said, right? Niche is not supposed to feel that it's suffocating you. A niche is not supposed to make you feel like it's shrinking you down. For example, again, even though I help people with their confidence and anxiety, I talk about childhood trauma all the time. I don't restrict myself to only these two topics, right? So niching doesn't mean that you cannot talk about other things. Niching is that you are an expert in the topic you're talking about, and at least you're talking about that more than half the time, because that is how your potential clients are going to be able to get the idea that this is the person who can solve my problem. Are there any other questions? What if I feel that I have many overlapping problems to resolve before I start being a life coach? Like I'm unsure of it. It's a confidence problem or anxiety issue. Whom do I approach? So if you know that you have problems, then you need to work on it. Okay. See, it's not that you can only be a life coach when you have reached some sort of pinnacle of personal growth, because that is not going to happen. Personal growth is a lifelong journey. Healing is a lifelong journey. I don't think I have reached the pinnacle of personal growth, but I am a pretty good coach. So either you make a decision to start your inner work now, and you can start your life coaching journey maybe a little bit down the line if that's what you want. But you don't really have to do that. You can start with your life coaching journey and do your inner work. Now, who do you approach? It's your call. You can approach the coach that you feel can help you out. And if you're again not sure what kind of problem you actually have, go to the coach that you can trust, sit with them and tell them that this is something that I'm actually struggling with. I don't even know the problem I have. And they will take you there, right? They will help you out with a step-by-step process, and they will help you come to a proper conclusion to what exactly the problem is. For example, one of the things that I do in my clarity call is just that, like, we go deep down to what exactly the problem really is instead of just touching the surface level. Most of the times, and I say this to all of my clients as well, is confidence is a very surface level thing. Like, I'm telling you as a coach who works around confidence that it's never really a problem. It's always deeper issues. It's always some unresolved issues from your past, unresolved issues from your childhood, the relationship you've had with your parents, the relationship you've had with your siblings, that creates this dynamic wherein you feel that something is wrong with you, right? So coming back to the question you've asked, if you feel that you have a lot of overlapping problems, go and start your inner work right away. And once you start progressing that, you will automatically know that, okay, now I feel stable enough to also start my life coaching journey. There is no life coach in the world who has reached some sort of pinnacle of life growth, personal growth. The only thing I know about good life coaches is they don't stop working on their personal growth. That's why I always say a life coach without a coach is a red flag, because it means that they've stopped working on themselves, right? It means that they're either too scared to invest in themselves, or they themselves are coming from a place that I know everything, and that's a very dangerous place to be at, right? So every coach is always working on themselves, because that is what our work is, right? So right now, simply start with your personal growth, start with your inner work, and you can approach anyone you want to. Is there any other question you guys have? You can ask anything. What are the fees that you charge? I have different packages that I discuss with people in my clarity call. So if you want, you can come on clarity call. We'll make a traumagram of you and we will see what is the work that we really need to do. And then you can take a package of your choice. You're welcome. Is there any other questions you guys have? Anything that's coming up? Again, no question is big or small, and you can ask anything. I remember me having so many questions when I started my business. And even today, there are some times where I have to tell my coach that, you know what, I'm going to ask you the same question again, but I want to, because I feel like the answer has not sunk in deeper enough. Sometimes you don't work with a coach because your problems are new. Sometimes you work because there are layers of that problem. And maybe you've just touched the first layer or the second layer, but the problem is, let's say, 10 layers deep or 12 layers deep. So the more you continue your inner work, the deeper the inner work reaches, the more layers it's able to cover. I know that I have asked the same question a lot of times to my coach, and every time I felt that it has reached a layer deeper, right? Okay, so we'll wait for 1 more minute. If there are any more questions, you can ask away. If not, you know that we always have our WhatsApp community. You can always ask any question you want there, or you can also DM me if that's what you prefer. Anything is okay. When will we have the next session? So I'm trying to do our sessions on the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, because weekdays are becoming a little bit difficult for me. So I will let you guys know this week when we will have our next session, next 2 sessions for the coming week. Okay, so I think we've covered all the questions. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. I hope you took a lot from our session today, and I hope you will sit and reflect, and I really hope that you will come up with questions, okay? Just because I've said something doesn't mean that you again have to just take it in and forget it. No, if you have questions, ask, right? And if you have opinions to share, share it. I would love to learn from you as well. And I will see you guys this week for another one of our community sessions. Like going forward, we'll mostly be covering, the marketing side of it and also the personal growth side of being a life coach. And I will be announcing the topic soon. Bye bye.